I'm very, very honored. Thank you so much, Vision Group. For me, it is deep, it's personal. Thank you, Strong Minds, for the people you brought. And I've loved the way Medina has spoken. Thank you, G4G, Josephine, thank you. I really appreciate your presence, Primera. Thank you so much, Rema, Women's Space. And I'm so honored that Dr. Hafsa is here. Thank you, Helen, for coming. It's special. Thank you, our guest of honor. So now, as I prepare to share my story, I'm being a bit gentle. But I just really want to thank God. He has done a lot in my life. I'm here to represent a population that is invisible to many. I'm here to represent a population many people would rather not hear about. I'm here to represent a population many people prefer to lock up in their houses, and not because they can't afford to give them medical care, not because they can't afford to get them help, but these people embarrass them. It's like a label of shame to say, oh, I have someone who has a mental illness or someone who has a disorder. It's something you don't want to identify with. I'm here to represent a population that has been labeled useless, because when I had my breakdown, honestly, I didn't even think I wouldn't get better. In my mind, I knew things would change. And these beautiful children, they wrote me a beautiful card. And on that card, they said, with God, all things are possible. And I still have that card. When they said, with God, all things are possible, it was like they had prophesied into my life that, yeah, this is for a season. One day it will be over. Because when I had my first breakdown, my daughter, she's the first one, she was 9 years. She's at university now. When I had a second horrible relapse, my son, he was 4 months. So for me to come here to testify of God's goodness, it is personal. And when I'm talking about mental health, it's deep. I don't talk about it because I'm looking at dollar signs. And Sheila, I really appreciate what you've just said, because with Heart to Heart is a support group. I felt people need space where they can talk and be heard, where they can talk and be seen, where they can talk and recover, where they can talk and thrive, where they can talk and be the best that God called them to be. So sometimes when those meetings would come, I would have no money. And I told Ida, she's there, Ida, stand up and they see you. I would tell Ida that, you know what, the meetings are coming, but I have no money. How am I going to deal? But somehow you guys, God would always give me money for those meetings. Always, that money would come. And then there are some meetings, I have the chef of the home, she's here, Emanuela. Emanuela loves cooking. So we would prepare our meetings, and she cooks her snacks, and people come and we talk. So for me, standing here, it's quite overwhelming, but it's about giving God glory. And I pray that God will use all of you in your different capacities to take mental health issues seriously. Because until it gets into your household, you don't know how deep cutting it can get. Because, you can see these children. I had to mother them regardless. you know, I had to mother them. And I'll give each one an opportunity, just a minute or so, just a minute. You say hi, don't fear. Not now, I'll tell yeah. But it is hard work being a mom. It is hard work making sure you also work. It is hard work making sure you have a wholesome life. So for me, the reason why I wrote this book, I wrote it as a gift to nations, not just Uganda, because for me, I'm thinking global. I wrote it so that people can know anyone is vulnerable. You don't have to over first strip for you to have a crisis, because actually in all my crises, I never stripped naked. You don't have to be so poverty-stricken to have a crisis. Anybody is vulnerable. And one thing I want to share is that let's mental health proof our homes. And my message here is mainly to the men. And I'm telling you this, any man, the best gift you can give your children is loving their mother. If you love their mother, you have won over the children. If you stand in your place as a man, your family stability is guaranteed. But now for me, I'm also a believer, so you need to be also in the right standing with the Almighty God. Because when men are out of position, there is family breakdown. When men are not there to defend their wives, to defend their children, the family unit is at stake. Because even before we start telling government do this, the government is not going to manage you as a man. Before you even tell the government to increase mental health budgeting, what are you doing in the four walls of your house, of your home? And for me, I've been very vulnerable in my book. I decided to be open. Of course, even when you are open, there are some things you keep quiet about, but I tried to be as open as I could be because I knew there are many women who are struggling, many men who are also struggling, many children who are struggling. And if we don't get people who are bold enough to go out there and tell the truth as is, there will be no help. There will be no help whatsoever. Because as long as you wear your lipstick, wear your heels, and there are many women, I've been in journalism for a while, so I know there are many women, power women, the women would say, the women we admire to be like. Whenever you interview the women, oh, your life, work balance and all that, they tell you it's all perfect. They tell you, oh, I have a very supportive husband, oh, my kids, you know, everything is all rosy. It's like these women never have challenges. These women are living over like superheroes. They don't have issues. And until you get real, we shall not find a solution to the mental health challenge. So today, really, it is about celebrating the goodness of God in the land of the living. Because once upon a time, I didn't even know I would be able to get people together to celebrate my testimony. And I know my sister went to home to be with the Lord, but when Dr. Hafsa was speaking, she said something very deep. If the mom cannot be there, there's usually somebody who is there. And for me, my big sister Ketura was like a mom. She actually used to tell people, this is my twin who came 7 years later. That's what she did when she introduced me to people. So for me, with my sister, we come a long way. I know she went home, so yeah, that connection is gone, but she left memories. She taught me to love. She taught me to forgive. She taught me to give love a chance. So she wasn't the kind of person that just because you're going through a challenge, quit. No. She never went down without a fight. So I learned to fight, but to fight in love. So even later on, why I want to summarize this, the Mental Health Awards, I named them in memory of my sister, Ketura, Mental Health Awards, to remember the contribution she made when I was struggling. Because my sister would just look at me and say, hey, Angela, we need to go up for a tea. She'll just look at me. For me, people who know me in New Vision, in fact, are shocked. There are some people who said, Angela, I never knew you had mental health issues. Because I was always smiling. And that was my life. I didn't want to tell people my tough times that I was going through. I always cared so much about public opinion. And I said, Chinocho, I have to swallow and keep it to myself. But until one time when I broke down, I realized I have to learn to speak up. And so the reason why the Ketura Mental Health Awards, my sister taught me to love. She taught me to support people, and actually she taught me not to judge people. Because regardless of how you look like, she loved people. And one person I want to recognize and thank God for, it's Timothy, and I know he didn't expect me to thank God for him. But Timothy was there when I lost my sister. Timothy, he was the only man who held my hand, apart from one of our pastors, when my sister passed away. I come from a challenging background, so my brothers were not there. And that's why I said, men, please stand. We need you. For me, I'm not one of those women who says, you men, or what, Men, we need you. Please stand. So he was there. He held my hand while I was crying, all those things. But he was there. And for me, Timothy holds a special place in my heart, and I'm really thankful that you came. Thank you so much. I want to say something, just a little bit from my book. It is on page 151. I choose to be an eagle in the storm. Drawing from research I did online, when eagles turn 40 years, they are faced with a decision of dying or surviving. Apart from surviving, I include thriving. You know the thrivers we are here. Please, thrivers, you say, let me see you, just your hands, thrivers. Happy to have you. So as well, because it's an important aspect of healing. The reason why an eagle is faced with this major decision is because its wings have become too heavy that it finds difficulty flying. The eagle's beak has become too curved that it cannot pick its prey easily. Its claws are too curved that it cannot hold its prey. Bottom line, the eagle must do something to remain relevant, survive, and thrive. It flies to the mountaintop where it spends 5 months rebranding itself. It hits its beak against a rock until it breaks, which is a painful process. I could compare this to what I was experiencing during my journey of recovery. I had to hide myself in the rock who is Jesus. The process of rebranding continues. When the new beak grows, he uses it to pluck out his claws. After the new claws have grown, it uses them to pluck out the old feathers to enable new feathers to grow. For the eagle to rebrand itself, it is not a day's event. I have learned that we all have to remain committed to the process if we desperately desire transformation in our lives. Then the eagle, it is ready to soar to even greater heights. But I missed something there. By the time this process is done, the eagle has a new lease of life of between 30 to 40 years. Then it is ready to soar to even greater heights. This is how God keeps renewing our youth. Yours too can be renewed. Yeah, the reason why I have read that is so that we realize that sometimes you can be in a storm, and sometimes when you meet up with your old friends. I met up with a friend recently. Hey, my dear, she was telling me, Angela, I built this house, I bought this car, and then when she's telling you all her achievements, you are looking at yourself and you're wondering, hey, where am I with this? And later she tells me, hey, Angela, I invited you to tea, but can you imagine? I'm the one who talked. Anyway, next time I will let you talk. You get life, you might be in a place right now where you seem like you're not moving, you seem like progress is not happening in your life. Take heart. Actually, God is grooming you. He's grooming you for the next level. And I want to encourage people who are here, who have mental health challenges, those who will hear the message, that it is not over until God says it is over. Keep going, keep fighting, and my call to government, call to action, let's give more money to mental health, more budgeting, and families, let's love our people, let's support them. Our government institutions where people have, sometimes there's a season you might need to be admitted, let our staff be loving, let our staff be there and handle the challenge in love, because sometimes, yeah, it is hard. So I don't want to stand here judging any medical person. It can be hard. Every situation is unique. So for God and my country, thank you so much for listening to me. I'll let each one of them introduce themselves. My son is so bored. Let him start. He loves cake. Then.
Hello, my name is Zero Nathan. How are you all today? I'm in P5.
I'm Nsimbi'S Jordana Emma. I'm in Senior 5, Spena. My name is Nadia Wanyana Calamari. I'm in P7.
Hi, I'm Natalie Nachuala Frederica. I'm in Form 2, St. Peter's Nalia / Spinner. Yeah. Hello, I'm Benjalina Teresa Namazi. I'm in 3rd year, Uganda Matters University. I thank you all for coming and supporting my mom's endeavors.
Thank you for listening to us.